Welcome to HANA Accounts Receivable training. The course objective is we'll identify the key fields in the customer vendor master data in AR module, describe the relationship between customer and vendor accounts, understand the posting flows in accounts receivable, identify key fields for running programs in the account receivable section, describe the function and configuration of special GL transactions. So the contents are accounts receivable, understanding what is accounts receivable, understand the customer master data, key financial accounting documents, reports with customers, running and special GL transactions. We go on to understand what is accounts receivable. So objective at the end, what you will understand at the accounts receivable is you will know the definition of accounts receivable, understand accounts receivable process, understand order to cash process, and understand GL and AR integration. The accounts receivable application component records and manages accounting data for all customers. It's an integrated part of the sales and distribution process. It is not merely one of the branches of accounting that forms the basis of accounting. It provides the data required for effective credit management, helps to create the control and sales integration with sales and distribution, and for optimization of liquidity planning. Now let's understand what is receivable. A transaction between a buyer, a customer, and a seller, a company which is selling the goods, where goods and or services are provided by the seller to the customer for a consideration to be paid in future on mutually agreed payment terms. The payment terms can be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or whatever. The consideration is receivable to the company from the customer. So it is receivable recognition. Receivables are recorded when cash has not been received. So a receivable can only be recorded when the following criteria is met: revenue event is complete, claim to revenue is measurable. A cash transaction do not create account receivable. Any cash transaction, and let's say we are selling it to a customer on cash, it will not generate any account receivable. Reason being, we receive the cash or we receive the money in the bank account, so bank account gets debited and the revenue account gets created. But in this case, if the customer doesn't pay at the time of selling, and he tells I will pay after 90 days or probably 6 months, then at this point of time, we have to record it as an accounts receivable. So the accounting will be accounts receivable debit, that is customer account debit, and the sales account will be credit. Let's understand the order to cash function. So this is the function which is directly linked to the sales and distribution. The customer places an order with a purchase order, which becomes an incoming order for the company, which we record in the sales and distribution module as sales order. So once we create a sales order, at that point, if the credit control is active, then credit control will be checked. If there's a credit limit for the customer, if the customer is credit worthy and all that. If it's okay, then we are able to allow to create the sales order. This will also affect the cash management module as future receivable, which will show as commitment, and it will show the customer account as future receivable, as commitment rather. So when the customer, we have to actually, after receiving the sales order based on the delivery date given by the customer, we have to deliver the goods. So the company will create a delivery in the system. The sales and distribution team will tell the warehouse to deliver the goods, and the warehouse team will ship the goods to the customer. And at that point of time, so at this point of time, when the delivery is done, there will be an accounting entry created. Remember, S4HANA is an integrated system. SAP is an integrated system. When we deliver the goods, what will happen is inventory get depleted, and the cost of goods sold will get debited. So the accounting entry will be cost of goods sold debited and inventory account credited. While when the billing is done in the SD module, what will be happening is receivable will get impacted. So the accounting entry will be account receivable debit and revenue will be credited. And if there is a taxes involved, output tax payable will also be get credited. So it will automatically account into the system. When the customer pays on the due date, when the customer pays on the due date, we will account for the cash, bank account debit to customer account credit. Accounts receivable process. So here, when we actually start receiving the money, now when we receive the money, it will be received through a bank transfer into the bank account. It will create an incoming payment, or the customer will give a check, which will also be an incoming payment, or if cash is received, also do an incoming payment. Okay, so these are the incoming payment forms. So what happens is when we receive the money into the bank, we have accounting that account. Now here is the question: are the payment details known? If the payment details are known, then what we do is we do a posting and clearing customer account for relevant open item directly. So if there's an invoice, we will exactly go and clear it, the customer account with the invoice. So the bank account will get debited and the relevant customer invoice will get credited. Okay, so the clearing will happen at this point of time since the payment details are known. If the payment details are not known, so what we do is posting no clearing to a generic AR clearing account, indirect. We just do a clearing to a generic AR clearing account, indirect. And when details become known, that means when the payment notification comes, when the payment advice comes, when the payment details come to know, when we receive a payment notification, payment advice, when we know the details, then we do a posting and clearing both customer account for relevant open item and generic AR clearing account. So this is the account receivable process. Let's understand the AR process flow diagram. So the AR process flow diagram is master records. Master records are created. Let's understand the AR. Now here basically there are master record, down payment, document entry, clearing, running and reporting. So master records, process decision, creating a customer record, creating a one-time account, whether you want a one-time account or not. Down payment, let's say a customer pays an advance to us. So in this case, we do a posting of down payment request and posting a down payment manually. If the customer pays an advance, then we do a down payment into the system, wherein the customer advance account will get credited and the bank will get debited. Okay, so this is the accounting entry. So when we have to bill the customer, so let's say we have to bill the customer, so post customer invoices. So we will debit the customer and credit the revenue. If it's a one-time account posting, then it will be a one-time account postings of a credit memo with reference. Let's say if there's a credit memo, if there's a rate difference, if we are charged at a higher rate and we need to issue a credit note to the customer, then we can do it with reference to the invoice. After posting the invoice, we can do a down payment clearing in respect of the advance received. So we adjust the advance against the invoice. This is called as down payment clearing. And posting the payment using the payment program or pasting the payment using the manual payment method. And whenever the customer pays, we can use it through the payment program, and we can also use it through manual payment receipt. We can use the automated clearing functionality. There's a clearing process. Either is the automatic clearing, manual clearing, manual bank statement processing. And in bank, let's say, if there is a bank when the customer pays and the information available, that time also the manual bank statement processing is there or electronic bank statement is there, reprocessing an account. So these are the processing of clearing. So when do we use dunning? Let's say when the customer is not paying or there's a delay in payment, then we start dunning using the dunning functionality. So we'll dun the customer. Dunning will also help us in the interest calculation, setting a credit, we can also set a credit limit, credit control reporting and all that. So we have a credit management module in place. Then we have the reporting functionality in the ER where we can display a customer accounting document, display and change customer and item, display customer balances. So all of this is part of the AR process flow diagram. So let's understand the integration between the AR module and the general ledger. So in the general ledger, we have something in the customer account, we have something called as the reconciliation account. So in the customer master, we update the GL account, which is the posting to happen from the customer account to the GL. Now, if you see here, these are the subledgers such as customer, vendor, assets, and all that. So we have we have called as the customer account or the vendor account and all that. And this will post into the general ledger. So it will post whenever there are postings happening in the customer account, it will automatically go and update the GL account in the background. So for that, what we do is in the customer master, we update the recon account. We update the reconciliation account, that is the GL account, where it is going to be posted. Also, please note that whenever a GL account is defined as a reconciliation account, we cannot post anything directly to the recon account because posting flows from the sub ledger to the general ledger. So you should now be able to know the business, basically the accounts receivable function, understand the account receivable process and order to cash process and GL and AR integration. Let's go to the customer master data to understand more details about customer master data. After the lesson, you will be able to describe the structure of customer accounts, discuss the similarities and difference between general ledger and customer accounts, control and maintain customer accounts. Now, as we know, customer master, it controls how the business transactions are recorded and processed by the system. So it has to be first created as a master record into the system. All the relevant information, so there's a name, address, and all that has to be updated in the system. It can be basically, if you see the customer master, it has to be, which is generally used by the AR as well as the sales and distribution team. So specification you make in the master records are the default value when you post two items to the account, for processing business transaction, for working with master records, for communication with the customer, for the sales department. Now, who is the customer? In SAP, the customer is nothing but business partner from whom receivables are due as a result of services rendered. Example of these services are goods delivered, services performed, right transferred. So a customer is represented in the SAP system by means of a master record. Example of business partner types and functions. We have business customer, vendor, sold to, shipped to, bill to, party, payer, other partner functions. These are our partner functions. Vendor ordering address, goods supplies, invoice presented by, and all that. Other partner types are personal sites, contact person, and so on and so forth. So typically, a master data structure of customer is the general data, that is address, control data, payment transaction are stored at the client level. Okay, so all of the data, the address, control data, payment transactions, the tax, the tax related information, and all that is stored in the general data section. Okay, so it could be the VAT number and all that stuff. Now that customer is extended to company code. Now let's say this customer was extended to a company code 6600 universal. So what is updated here? So what is updated here is the account management, payment transaction, correspondence, and so on and so forth. Okay, so and then this is part of the financial transaction. Now sales organization. Now we have the sales and distribution module. So whenever we want to do a incoming order, we want to do delivery, we want to do billing. So in that case, the customer master has to be extended to the sales organization group, which is nothing but 6600 sales organization, where we update the sales data, partner function, and so on and so forth. So business partner, the new concept in S4HANA, where the business partner is nothing but you have, for example, a business partner category, a person, organization, group, business partner role, FI customer, general business partner, FI vendor, and so on. And the business partner grouping. Here it tells the grouping, business partner grouping tells whether it's an internal number assignment, external number assignment. So in SAP S4HANA, the business partner in the master record is in which you manage your vendor as well as customer. So it offers a single point of entry to create, edit, and display master data for business partners, customers, and vendors. So what we see here, in general data, we maintain name, address, bank details, business partner role. Business partner role can have several roles, FI, customer, and then customer, and so on. Business partner category used to classify a natural person, group, organization, and business partner grouping is nothing but internal, external. Grouping and the number range are defined in customizing. So here we have a business partner general data, which has the person, business partner role, which is FI customer, and business partner grouping, which is internal number assignment, and we update that in the company codes. In the various company codes, we can extend this particular data from the general data section to the company code section. So we can create it, extend it. Now here, let's see the main screen. In the general data section, here we see that the name is updated, the address, street, time zone, and all of the stuff is entered here. Okay. Here the bank data is captured, the bank payment details, all of that is captured. Here in the identification section, we can capture the tax account number and all that stuff. Now, this is the company code section, which is the financial accounting section. So if you see here, the BP role selected is FLCU00, that is customer financial accounting, which means that the customer is extended to the company code 6600. And you will find here that we have updated here the GL account, the reconciliation account. This is the general ledger account, which will get posted when the transaction happen in this particular customer code. So this is the customer code 1730015, and the posting will happen into this reconciliation account. Now, if you notice here that you are finding this supplier now. The supplier, this particular code was created as a supplier earlier. So in S4HANA, we can now create a supplier and extend the same supplier as a customer code. So here you will find the same customer code being created as the vendor is created as a customer code. That's the reason you will find both the code as customer and supplier. In the payment transaction, you will find that the payment terms are updated. In the correspondence section, you will find that if, let's say, you want to send him account statement to the customer, you want to request some confirmation from the statement. So in that case, you have to update the correspondence type into this particular tab. If there's an insurance, then you have to update here and all that stuff. If you want to calculate interest, then you have to update interest indicator. Now here is the concept of head office. If you want a different head office, let's say a customer has a different head office branch concept, then in that case, we have to update the head office number, a different customer code where actually the customer billing will happen here, but the posting will happen to a different account. So this is the head office concept. Similarly, sort key concept. Sort key concept is nothing but you want to update transaction from reference onto the assignment field. So here we have to update the relevant sort keys. Previous account number. Let's say you are migrating from an existing Oracle system into an SAP system. So you can capture your previous account numbers, the old system customer codes here into the system. And this planning group and all of this is used for the purpose of cash management. So this is the financial accounting section, the company code section. Now this is the sales organization section. We want this the same customer code for the purpose of billing, for creating sales order, for creating delivery and all that. So in that case, we have to create this, extend this customer as into the sales organization view. Now you will find the sales organization is 6600 6600, and the role, if you see now, the role has changed. Now we are into a different role, FLCU01, which is nothing but the sales organization role. So now this is the role where it will be created in the sales organization 6600. It will be created in the distribution channel and division and so on and so forth. Okay, what is the currency? What is the shipping? Where it will be shipped? Billing, partner function, all of that is captured in the sales organization section. Now, field status. Now, the account group is used to control the field state displayed in the master record. So, what has to be required, what has to be suppressed, what is optional, that is controlled to the account group. So, you can configure this by specifying which should appear on the screen, how these fields are to process. Now, it can be a field has to be hidden, not visible, whether it has field has to be required entry, an optional entry, or display field. So, hidden status has the highest priority, followed by display, required, and optional status. Okay. So, structure of the customer account master. Typically, we start with creating an account group, then the number range. It's a normal or one-time customer. The field status, customer vendor clearing, alternate. So, we will understand each of them. What is alternative, payer, payee, head office, branch, and all. So, these are the functions within the customer account master. Now, what is account group? Now, account group we define in customizing as to what could be the account group here. So, typically we create an account group when we want to classify customers into different categories. Let's say we want to classify the customer as a domestic customer, foreign customer, and service customer, whatever. So, if we want to have classify a different customer into a group, then we create them as an account group in the configuration. So, number range is assigned to the account group, and the status of the field, that is mandatory, suppressed, changeable, is defined at the account group level. Also, we can control authorization, who is allowed to create, change, and display master record, or if the account is a one-time customer. So that also is possible in the account group section. So we can create an account group with a one-time customer group. So all the setup from account group is defaulted into the customer master, and the number range is assigned to the account group. So the range of possible account number is divided into smaller number range. So number range must not overlap. So if you create a number range, it should not overlap it. You can define whether you want the number as internal or external. Internal means whenever user starts creating a customer master or a vendor master, automatically system will assign the number. You don't have to manually enter any number. But if you define the number as external, that means system is expecting you to update a number. System will not automatically propose any number. But if it's already used, then it will throw an error that this number is already used. So that is the difference between internal and external. But here, external numbers can be alphanumeric. An internal number cannot be alphanumeric. So for example, we have these number of number ranges. Now see here, this is the one-time customer, this is the foreign number, and this is the domestic number. So you can have an internal number assigned. So let's say you can have the number range as a single number range can be assigned to the multiple account groups. Also, we can have a one-to-one relation. A single number range can be assigned to all of them, or if required, we can also have separate number ranges for each of the groups. For example, here 00 is created for domestic, 01 is created for foreign, and one time we have external number range. So 02. So that's the difference between internal number range and external number range. System will automatically allocate the number range within the given number range sequentially. External number, user has to assign externally the number as required. In internal number range, alphanumeric is not possible. In external number range, alphanumeric is possible. Internal numbering system will use the next number. In external numbering, user has to select the number by checking the existing record. Now, what is a one-time customer? Now, one-time customer are generally customers where you supply only once in a lifetime or rarely. So you create a special customer master record for one-time accounts. Okay, you can done open items from it with dunning program or pay item using the payment program. So customer master records for one-time accounts are created with their own account groups. You enter the customer or vendor specific data for one-time customer vendor in the document during posting. So what happens is in the master data, no address or anything is stored for that matter. That's a dummy address. But when you use a customer, one-time customer during posting of any transaction, that time system will pop up a message or pop up a screen asking the user to enter the name or address and all that. So let's say we are doing a accounting posting. At that point of time, system will expect you to update the name, the city number, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the difference between a one-time customer. Means one-time customer is your only customer where you are going to deal with the transaction, not regularly, but sometimes. So the layout of the customer vendor master data screen can be affected by several factors. What we talked about: account group specific control, transaction specific control, and company code specific control. The account group specific field status, transaction specific field status, the company's field status are compared, and the field status with the highest priority is used. So, account group has a certain required field which can be suppressed or optional, or also transaction specific control in the chain mode, in the display mode. What do we want to see? Whether it should be suppressed or display or whatever. So, in the transaction specific control, when you go to the configuration, you will understand that the transaction specific also we can do in the change, what should be displayed, what should be suppressed, what should be display only, and all that. Okay, so this is and company's code specific control, whether you want to in this company code you want this field to be displayed or suppressed and all that stuff, and also it's possible. So we saw just now that customer was also a vendor or vice versa. The payment and running program can clear open items against each other. Prerequisites for customer and vendor clearing is before you can clear items between a vendor and customer account, you must create a customer master record for the vendor that is also a customer. Then update the vendor account number in the vendor field in the control section of the general data in the customer master. So in the general data tab, you should update the in the vendor field in the customer master record. Enter the customer account in the customer field in the control section of the general data in the vendor master record. So basically link those two vendor and customer in the general data section so that the relationship is built. And choose clearing with the vendor and clearing with customer in the company code data in the both customer and vendor master records. So clearing with vendor and clearing with customer checkbox has to be selected in both customer and vendor master. In this way, each company code can decide separately whether it wants to offset the customer against the vendor. Now, customer and vendor netting. To clear open items, you have to carry out the following steps. You have to enter the vendor account number in the customer account or vice versa. And each company code can decide separately whether it wants to clear open items within customer vendor. You have selected the field clearing with the vendor in the customer account or the corresponding field in the vendor account. Now, let us understand the alternative payer and payee concept. Now, what is the alternate payee concept? If payments are not to be made by the customer that owes the receivable in question, but by an alternative payer, okay, in the customer master record, then we can use an alternate payer function. If the alternate payer is an existing customer, you can enter the customer account as a permitted payer in the master record. During invoice entry, during invoice entry, you can choose one of these pair using match code. To enter an alternate payer, the amount to clear the due open item in the account is paid by the alternate payer. At the client and company code level, you can enter an alternate payer or payee. The entry in the company code segment has higher priority than the entry at the client level. So here, if you see here, this is the client level, that is the general data section. This is the customer. We have entered an alternate payer as customer Y. This is the customer E. Okay. And in the company code section, this is the company code section, where in the automated payment transaction, you have maintain alternate payee as customer Z. So in that case, customer Z, this particular in the company code view has a higher priority than what is maintained at the general data section. So whatever will happen is postings, whichever are done to customer A will automatically get posted to Z. And whenever you clear, you have to clear it from Z and it will get updated to A. So basically it is nothing but all the postings are managed in Z. Likewise in vendor B, if vendor B has in the general data section, if vendor M is maintained, and in the company code section, if N is maintained, then N will be have priority over N. Head office branch concept. Now, customer in some industries place order locally, that is via their branches, but pay invoices centrally from headquarters. So there is a difference between the good flow and the cash flow. You can reflect this in SAP system via the head office and the branch account. So here we have a customer account, customer A at client level and account management. In this head office, we are maintaining customer X. So when we are billing customer A, automatically the bill gets debited to customer X because he is the head office. Similarly, in vendor B also, if we have maintained head office vendor Y, automatically the invoice posted to B gets posted to vendor Y because it's the head office. That is the head office branch concept. To link a branch account to the head office account, enter the account number of the head office account in the head office field in the customer master record of the branch account. You use customer accounts that are not one-time or branch accounts as head office account. Branch account and head office account must belong to the same company code. That's important. So branch and head office should belong to the same company code. So all items which are posted to a branch are automatically transferred to the head office account. So usually dunning notices go to the head office and it is the head office that makes and receives payments. However, the decentralized processing field is selected in the head office master record. The dunning and payment program uses the branch account instead. So that also is an option. So now you should be able to describe the structure of customer account, discuss the similarity and difference between general ledger and customer accounts, control and maintain customer accounts. So let us go through the exercises. Fill in the blanks to complete the sentence. Dash number assignment means that S4HANA system assigns the number automatically. So what do you mean by that? So internal number assignment means that S4HANA system assigns the number automatically. You maintain a customer master record. Dash if you create the financial segment at the same time as the sales order management segment. So you will maintain a customer master record centrally if you create the financial segment at the same time as the sales order management segment. General ledger accounts. So general ledger accounts have dash number assignment. Customer master records can have dash. or dash number assignment. So here the answer is general ledger accounts have external number assignment. Customer master records can have internal or external number assignment. A complete customer account consists of dash, dash, and dash. What could it be? A complete customer account consists of the general data, that is the name, address, and all that. The company code data, which will contain the GL account, the payment terms, the correspondence, and all that. Running information and all that. And finally, the sales organization view, which shows what is the billing to be done, delivery, and all those stuff are maintained in the sales organization view. So that is basically the complete customer account. The customer account must always be maintained centrally. This uh, this may not be true because reason is if you want only to be posted to the financial part, then you need not maintain it centrally. So it can be maintained general data and the accounting view. If we are not planning to use the sales and distribution module, then the SD module details are not required. So this is false. One number range can be assigned only to one account group. Is this true or false? It is false because one number range can be assigned to multiple account groups.